important right now for you to take 1 second and hit that like button. Help push us through the YouTube algorithm. And then it's also equally as important to pound on that bell notification, hit that bell notification and click all. That way you stay up to date on all my latest videos as the inflationary depression that I've been warning of opinions, because I am not a financial advisor. This is just my overall thesis of the market, right? And as we get into it now, Vincenzo'S Go Crypto Investing, and we take a look at the price action. You can see the Bitcoin price had a little bit of a pump last night. We were watching this maybe for a potential pump. After, remember, we had the big call 2 weekends ago on a Friday, and then we had that pump, not last week, but the week before, leading up into the Fed move. Then we had a sideways consolidation where we traded down to the 50 in red, traded back up for a local double top. And then when we were here yesterday, we were talking about if you could hold the 200-day moving average in green, you could have another pump and maybe get up as high as right here this weekend, or in a bullish case scenario, the ultimate bullish case, get up to that 24,837.74. And we've had that little pump right here. And now what you want to watch happen is on some kind of retest, can you hold that level? The previous double top, if you start to trade down, can you hold that level and then continue to the upside? And that would be bullish. If you came back and broke that level right here where that double top was, you're going to come down all the way back to the 200-day moving average that's sitting down here right about the 20,181, which would erase that gain that we had overnight last night. And I did actually have a trade on here and didn't even know, because I don't really do a lot of trading on here. But if we go into here, go into here, you can see right now we're up 89.18% on BitGet. You can use my partner link down below if you like to do futures trading, spot trading, margin trading and whatnot. There's a nice $4,000 to $5,000 bonus based on deposit requirements. But most people, if they deposit $1,000 or $2,000, will get a couple $100 in bonus, because there's different deposits that you have to meet for the requirement. The less you deposit, the less you get in free money, right? But check that out down below if you're a futures trader. I actually put a limit order in yesterday when I was at work, when we were down here on the moving averages, and I had it above the price on a breakout point that I thought would lead to a pump, and forgot about it until just now when I peeked on over there and noticed that I had an active trade going on. So that's a pretty nice little reward today. I have a stop loss at 60% in profit, so it can come down a little bit on this retest. I put my stop loss down in that area somewhere, and we have an upside potential this weekend of 24,831, which if it went straight up from now to there, I would very much appreciate that, because that's a 16% move on a 25x trade. I would be in the money. But I have a feeling even if it does eventually come up here today or tomorrow, it's going to come down and hit my stop loss, because it's going to have to do some kind of consolidation unless our next pump up gets us up here, and then we have the consolidation, right? So we're going to keep and pay attention to this. Of course, at 19,194 is critical underneath support. At the top part of that blue support resistance box right there, and the 16,658.11 is your major underneath support, which you would need to hold, because as you do know, this will eventually get hit. This target was put out in 2021 when the price was up there, and this will get hit. It's not a matter of if, it's just when, and it takes a while to deflate a price that was as high as the Bitcoin price with all the momentum that it had. And you can see XRP, I put that Bitcoin trade in because it was sitting down here in a similar pattern where you had a double top, and then you were sitting by the moving averages like XRP that we talked about the other day, I think Wednesday or Thursday, and then it popped and came back up to the 50-cent area, and we were talking about that as we've been talking about for 2 weeks since this big bull run that we called from down here, and said this is where you'd get initially topped out. As long as you stayed above that 37 cents on consolidations after this, with the volume declining, you remained bullish. And when we were sitting here, we kept talking about if on the way up, you're going to hit this 50 cents again. But if you can consolidate as the moving averages turn up, the volume starts to slowly come in. As you can see, the volume has sort of come up a little bit. You had your baseline down there. Now you got your baseline up here. You're sort of stepping up in volume. The price is slowly coming up. If you can get above this 50 cents, hold on it as support. You can rocket up here this weekend or early next week to that 66 cents. And we've been talking about that since this whole thing's been going on back here. And this is still a major upside target. As long as you stay above your major underneath support of 37 cents, you're good. And this 50 cents is major mid-ground resistance, right? You can see we got resistance there, resistance there. Now we're back up on it, and now this is going to be where we see kind of fortitude and the volume spike up and lead the price up, breach these old highs, and then if you come back down on a consolidation, hold the 50 cents as support instead of resistance, and fire your way up. And with an industry exclusive measuring tool, that is still a phenomenal 35% gain from where the current price is. And you can see right now it's trying to beat through it, but you can see you have the big fire up, the big wicks. Look at all the big wicks there in the 3 hour time frame. Sell pressure, sell pressure, sell pressure. So this is something that's a fluent, ever-changing scenario that you need to watch to see if this can break up the next day or two, or if this comes down today or tomorrow, right? But it's at a critical support resistance level, and in this case a resistance level. And if you fire up into here, you're going to at least go up for a double top at about 50, triple top at about 56 cents. And then what we're talking about is you come back down, hold that as support, and then you can continue to the upside. Notice the volume, what I was talking about too. See where the baseline volume was for a few days. It was sitting down there. See that down there? It's changed this color scheme. See that down there? Now look where it's at up here recently. It's subtly higher, right? Let's put a horizontal ray here so you can see it real quick. Here's where the mean of this volume was back here. It was sitting down there, right? And now you can see the mean of this volume is sort of sitting up in there. It's subtle, but it is noticeable that the volume came up a little bit, and we're gonna have to continue to watch out in this ever-changing, evolving, fluent situation in the crypto price. And you can see another thing that came up that was a good call. You see we moved this down to this new support resistance. It used to be down there in Cardano. As we do know, Cardano from last year was something old Vincenzo. If we take a look at and look at my playlist, I do have old calls on there so you can see this. Remember last year about Thanksgiving, or just before where we're at now, you had this big sell-off in the summertime and this big massive rally through mid and late summer. And as we got in the fall, it started to top out, and it started to come down in a pretty substantial way percentage-wise right before Thanksgiving, but it was still way up. But it was down about 30 to 35%. And we had family members at Thanksgiving, and the rest of the crypto world. Are you selling your Cardano? No, just mocking people that didn't buy it on this retracement. And then they made paper gains, but they never sold. And even here, they were convinced it was still going to go up to the upside and get to $5, $6, $7, $8. They never envisioned when the price last Thanksgiving was at about $2, and just before Thanksgiving was sitting up at just below $3. They never envisioned a year later at Thanksgiving that the price would be sitting down here in Cardano at 46 cents, and that what they had in a quick 3-month trade where they were up 100%, 120, 130%. Now from where they bought, they are down a phenomenal 70%, and they're getting fleece heisted and shisted because they didn't want to listen at the family events to Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing that was giving them the technical analysis and the foresight and what was going on in the monetary and fiscal policy with the Fed about to raise interest rates, that it was going to drive the crypto price down. They still didn't understand. They still had a mindset that was being cognitive dissonance to what was actually going on, only believing and listening to the news that they wanted to hear and wanted to believe and wanted to be seen. And then as we know, when this price came down in here, we were telling you if you broke this major area after you held this as resistance for a long time in this falling channel in red, falling channel support in red, we held that and came up, and we told you when it came back down here, when we got rejected by the moving averages, if you came back to this area and broke it, which was about the 42 3/4 cents, just like it was right here, where we had support, and support once again back on the 14th of July, that if you broke this, you were going to back test the falling channel again, and we had the 33-cent marker up there. It hit it beautifully, and then we told you if it could confirm a hold here, the 43 cents on a pump 2 weeks ago when the rest of the market, we had multiple videos out about warning you of a big crypto pump across the board. We showed you that this was your first upper resistance, and then ultimate upper resistance. You could get up even to the 200-day moving average after a little consolidation, and maybe you come all the way up to the 60-cent level, and that's what you're attempting to do right now in Cardano, right? And that's what we're going to watch out for. If you get above the 43 cents, can you flip it from resistance right here back to support like it was back there? If you get up here, flip it to support, and then continue up to the upside where you have a 60 cents major upper resistance, a 43 cent initial support and resistance, Right now it's trying to breach it and flip it from resistance to support and major underneath support down there at 26 cents.